So hey guys, you guys are here tonight. It is what's the date now? We're on what, October 13th? And we are approximately 5 weeks away until elite and two-star qualifications begin. So we're kind of getting down to the wire. This is when, we really need to be pushing forward towards our goals. Really every single day counts at this point, that we're mobilizing our teams as well as, giving our best conscious effort as it comes to really making our goals not only in our visions, but also the fact that you guys are going to achieve these awesome goals. So hopefully you guys are running diamond push groups. You guys are running emerald to diamond groups or 10-day emerald groups. You guys are also inviting to sneak peeks and the coaching events. You guys are doing calls and doing massive inviting right now during this time. So those are some of the activities that you guys should be doing that are going to help align with your goals of being elite. Okay. We did get elite reports out last week. If you guys want to post those elite reports into the page again for us, we can take a look at those and figure out, what we have to do. We can do some more reverse engineering of our goals and really get a concrete plan in place for what we want to achieve, because we are coming down before. So I don't know if you guys are like me, but I work really well under pressure. I can think about what it is that I want to achieve for quite a while, but when it comes down to pushing for big goals, I really start buckling down as sooner that it gets. And when I realize, like right now, we have 5 weeks left, I have some big goals for myself. I know that Andrea and Stephanie have big goals for themselves too. And we just got back from leadership, and it's time to really hone in and be laser focused on what we want to achieve. And for you guys that are around last year, you guys know the closing speech at Summit, how Carl Deichler talked about not going, not giving less than one fingernail more. And that's basically what we're going to do. So at the end of the year, we can celebrate how far we've come, because we know in our minds that we gave it our best. And that's all we can ever ask, is that we give our best, and whatever our best is what we're going to be celebrating along the way. Okay? So you guys know, you guys are entrepreneurs. You guys know that entrepreneurs come with being a roller coaster ride. You're going to fail over and over and over and over again, 100 times over, until you guys reach your goal. And the only difference between a successful person and a not successful person is if they quit. So that's what we're going to be celebrating as we go along, that we're just doing our best, that we're failing forward, that we're putting ourselves out there, and that we're getting really uncomfortable and just overcoming some of the things that maybe have held us back in the past, okay? And celebrate those things as we go along. So we want to get on tonight and just share some of our insights from leadership with you guys. It was a different event, I think, for most of us. This is my second leadership event, and it was just a little bit different. It's one of my favorite events of the year because it's very small. I don't know, how many people you guys think were there? 300 maybe?
300, I think. And if everybody can mute themselves, unless you're going to ask a question.
But it's a lot more intimate event. You really get to understand what the whole company is about. They really mentor you to provide leadership so that we can provide leadership for the rest of our coaches and the rest of the company. And so obviously we want to get you guys there so that you guys can bring this information back to your awesome teams. This to me, what Elite is really all about is being in on the know, being able to provide the best and most concrete and current information to my team. And because we're an elite coach, we get that information. And so if you think about what this can really do for your team, if you're scared of pushing for a goal because you feel like it's for you and not your team, really start changing your thinking, because being an elite coach means that you're leading your team. It also means that you're leading from the front in your business, and that you are a leader recognized within the company. And with that comes with great responsibility and also some really incredible rewards. So we want you guys all to be elite coaches next year. So hitting that 2-star leadership event is really important in January. And most of the coaches that attend in January also attend leadership next year. So you guys can also go to both. So why don't I turn it over to one of you ladies, and if you guys want to share what your favorite memories were, or aha moments from leadership, and then I can wrap it up at the end.
Cool. I can start unless you want to go, Steph.
Go for it, girl.
Cool. Okay, so I just wanted to share with you guys. Can you guys hear me fine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I just want to share with you guys a few quotes that I wrote down that I felt were really impactful for me, that I thought might relate to what you guys are going through right now, and then a couple action items that I wrote down, and I'm like, oh, I need to implement this for my team, and I want to take you through that a little bit of the thought process too. When I go to an event, how a leader thinks, how a leader acts, and what a leader does after they leave an event like Summit or leadership. And so just a couple of things that I wrote down. One of the first things that I thought I would share with you guys that I personally wrote down that I feel like applies when you're pushing for something like Elite, because like Alyssa said, sometimes it can get to the point where you feel like, oh, is this selfish? Is this for me, or is this for my team? And I wrote down a quote that says, see the light in others and treat them as if that's all you see. And so you guys are going to see amazing results in your team if you push for a goal like Elite, but you push for it without caring about the numbers, where you care, like, we want to get to Elite because what that means is we've helped other people duplicate our success. We don't want to be going in, we don't want to be kind of rising to the top of this company and be doing it alone. Yeah, the quote is, see the light in others and treat them as if that's all you see. And I can post that into the group. And so when you guys, especially as you guys get down to the wire and you're like, 2 days out, 1 day out from the goal, it could be easy to start feeling resentful towards people if they're not behaving in a way that you want them to behave. And so if you guys just really keep that in mind as the pressure gets on, as we're getting closer to this deadline, it's something that I think we all need to check ourselves and remember as we're pushing for a deadline. But it's also really important to know that you're not pushing this just so that you have a fancy title when you show up at Summit. You're pushing for this to duplicate within your team, to help other people succeed with you. I actually am going to kind of be vulnerable with you guys for a second, because this is my third leadership, and I had a really hard time this year because I was really excited to show up and see all my friends, and it is my favorite event of the year. It's very chill. It's not crazy like Summit. We work out at like 8 o'clock in the morning. We don't start till 10. It's very, very relaxed learning environment. But I looked around, and I was the only person on my team within my downline that was there. I didn't have any of my people with there. And for me, that feels like failure. I don't care what kind of accolades that I get when I step up, when I'm going across Summit stage getting recognition, because if I'm not helping other people duplicate what I'm doing, I don't feel like I'm a success. And so that brings me to my next point is, it's really important to help you and your team have a purpose that's deeper than a goal with a deadline. Because no matter what, if you guys just show up every day and just keep plugging along, you guys are going to hit all of those goals. And then you're going to stop and ask yourself, then what? What do I do after I'm a 5-star elite coach? What do I do after I'm 15-star? What do I do after I'm making 6 figures or $1 million a year? I don't know what your goals are, but eventually, if you guys just keep showing up, you're going to hit every single one of those goals. So what's going to keep you to continue showing up, to continue helping people? And we had this conversation at my retreat, and I actually just posted a video in my team page because I caught wind that someone who didn't know me well kind of got this vibe that I was caring more about my goals than others. And so that really, really lit a fire in me, and I was like, hold up. You're about to see my colors. And I made a video that was extremely passionate, showing about why I still show up every day, because I've hit all the goals that I set out that I was trying to hit in the beginning when I was working so hard in my business. So why is it that I still wake up every day and I still go to bed late at night thinking about how I can do more, be better, and serve better? It's because my purpose is in the nuts and bolts of this business. It's in the everyday activities. It's not in the ultimate goal of Elite. It's not in the ultimate goal of 15-star, whatever that big goal is. It's in the nuts and the bolts of the everyday activities. That is why I work so hard, it's because I'm very, very passionate about my daily purpose. And when you guys can help instill that purpose, where people wake up every day and they're excited and they're passionate and they're driven and they're in love, you guys have created self-propelled machines within your business. The goals will not even matter anymore because they're just going to end up hitting elite because they're going to show up every day and they're going to do the work because they love it and because it's purpose driven. So if you guys don't know what that purpose is for your coaches, it's so important that you start having those conversations. And so going to my action items, I wrote down, for me personally, I need to start having more one-on-one conversations. As you guys start to see your businesses are going to get bigger, it's a little bit harder to have those one-on-one, like, hand-to-hand touches with your team. But that's really important to me. And that's why I don't grow my business as fast as some other coaches. I'm not one of the people that recruits 30, 40 people a month. It's just not the way that I like to grow my business, because I do prefer that closer relationship with my people, and I want to be able to do more one-on-one conversations. And for me, I've kind of gone back and forth. I was doing one-on-ones, and then I was doing Zooms, and so I've kind of tried it all. And I feel like for me personally, I want to go back to having more one-on-ones. I want to start sending more uplifting voice memos, create a system where I have a checklist and say, okay, every day I'm going to send one of my personally sponsored coaches a voice memo. So maybe it's one person today, another person tomorrow, but that way they're constantly feeling supported by me. And sometimes a coach just needs you to reach out, maybe if they're not producing, it's because there's some kind of fear and they don't want to let you down, so they're not telling you. I know I've personally experienced that from my coaches, where they didn't reach out to me because they were afraid that they were letting me down. And that makes me sad. And I wish I had reached out to them sooner. And so that's another action item for me, is to be more consistent with reaching out and making sure silence doesn't always mean people aren't interested. It just might mean that they are hitting a block and they're afraid to tell you. And then the last thing that I wrote down, which had many like sub actions, was that I need to break things down better for people. This business is simple, but it can feel very complicated and overwhelming. And so there was a session where we were talking about, let's teach our coaches how to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And then how is it that we do that? How do we break down making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Well, we get 2 pieces of bread, we put peanut butter on one side and jelly on the other, and then we get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Except for if you actually did that, you would have missed the part of taking the peanut butter out of the jar, taking the jelly out of the jar, and you're just smashing glass together, right, to make a sandwich. Nobody's gonna eat that, right? So it's one of those things for me where I'm like, sometimes I'm in my own head, and I know as a leader, this was a big weakness of mine in the beginning, was that I just figured if I get it, everybody gets it, right? Well, it's not true, because everybody's brains just work so differently. And so I need to do a better job of really breaking things down step by step. So one of my big projects that I'm working on is, like, I seem to have a great process for helping my coaches get to diamond, but my coaches aren't helping their coaches get to diamond. So now my job is to sit down and analyze every single step that I take. What am I doing to get my coaches to diamond? Do I even know? Do I have a process? And how can I create that into a system that is like a nice checklist or a good roadmap that gives my coaches a solid idea of, okay, I'm at diamond, now what the hell do I do? Because what happens, a lot of people get to diamond, they stall out, they fall, they lose their rank, and then sometimes they even leave the business, because a lot of times it's usually because they just don't know what to do next. They had that fire, they had that motivation, or it could go back to they don't know what their purpose was. Initially, their purpose was diamond. Well, they got to diamond, now what? Then they fell off, right? That's where it goes back to having that deeper purpose within the nuts and the bolts and the everyday of this business. So I want you guys to write down right now, what's something that you do really well, and how can you ultra simplify that for your team? You know, maybe you're really killer at challenge groups. One of my newer coaches, one of my newer diamonds, Lauren, she has an incredible system where she hits Success Club 10, usually closer to 20 every single month. And it's broken down into a very, very simple system that she just sent me, and she's going to share on one of our team calls. And I'm like, she took her strength, which is challenge groups, and she broke it down super simple for everyone. So what is it that is your strength? Is your strength social media? Is your strength having conversations? The other thing I wanted to do, especially during some one-on-one conversations or Zooms, is start breaking down actual conversations, probably as a group. I think I'll do that on a Zoom of like, get my people on a Zoom and say, okay, share with me your full invite. Let's talk it out. Let's break it down, because I do have a coach, one of my rock star leaders, really just blew up this year, and she was not really hitting Success Club. She was like that coach that would get 2 to 4 Success Club points a month. And then finally I went down and I'm like, what are you saying to people? I can see you can get a couple so you can do something. So why is it that you just sent out, I watched her send out like 30 invites and got nobody back. And I was like, okay, we have a problem here. So let's analyze. So I asked her, what is it that you're saying to people? And let me see start to finish. And then I gave her feedback, and it was one simple little tweak. And that's usually how it is in this business. One simple little tweak of a mindset or an approach, and the floodgates open. And she hit Success Club 10 for the first month ever. I think she hit even more than that month, just because she was jumping the gun. She was, selling the product too quickly without building the relationship. And once I gave her a script that was broken down so that she could reapproach it, she hit Success Club 10 within the end of the week. So it's those little things of how can you go analyze and actually have the conversation live with the person, especially a group setting, because group learning for something like that is going to be so valuable. So those are some really important things for me that I wrote down, and I'm like, okay, I got to go approach this in my business. And just the last thing that I want to leave you guys with is kind of a thought process of a leader when they walk out of an environment like that. Because for a moment I felt slightly overwhelmed, because I'm like, man, I thought I was doing pretty good. And then I look around me and it can become very easy to feel overwhelmed or feel like you're not good enough compared to the person that you're standing next to, especially when you're in an environment like that where you're on, a top 10 coach like Alyssa. And to think like, man, I could be doing more. I'm not doing enough. I'm not the leader I thought I was. And I felt that way for a second, and I stopped myself and I said, okay, what is it? If they can do it, I can do it, number one. And number two, what is it that they're doing that I'm not? And how can I approach this differently in my business? And I sat down and I seriously free wrote on this awesome legal pad that they gave us at leadership a bajillion ideas that's going to take me at least 18 months probably to implement all of them. But the idea is, again, free write, brainstorm, and I'm not sitting around waiting for someone else to implement this in my business, or for one of my coaches to just get it. I'm looking, where's the problem? How can I turn this into a solution? How can I simplify? How can I grow and be better, instead of continuing to look around and being like, oh, that person's ahead of me. And I know as we get closer to the deadline in this group, that can become a really easy trap for you guys. And I hope that you hear me loud right now, that you cannot allow yourself to do it. If one person in this group can hit Elite, everyone can hit Elite. It's just a matter of, are you willing to say, this isn't working, and stop very quickly and approach and figure out why and change your course. It's the small little daily tweaks, those small course corrections that are going to get you guys to where you want to go, but you have to stop and be willing to analyze and then course correct. So that's all I have, ladies.
Awesome. I love it. And hey, I'm not intimidating at all.
You're not intimidating, but you're awesome. And it's like, I want to grow and be better. And so you surround yourself with people that are better than you so you can get better.
Love it. That's why I'm hanging out with you guys. All right. Want to head your stuff?
Yeah. So I've got these notes, and then Andrea hit on a bunch of amazing stuff. And so I want to talk about a few things that I came away from. I felt like big themes for the weekend were being a confident leader, having purpose. And also I realized that there were a couple times when, like Carl had mentioned, checking yourself. Sometimes we get so caught up and used to this business and how fun it is that when we're in this hustle period, we can kind of lose perspective on how awesome this is and what our purpose is, because maybe you have a full-time job still. You're in this period of hustle. And Stephanie Chico is one of my upline coaches, and I love her so much. And she had reminded me a long time ago that there are periods of hustle, and we're in one of those right now. And so Carl had mentioned, to check yourself when you're having, some of the stress that might come in the next few months or few weeks while you guys are pushing, and realize when you have the purpose behind you, right? Like Andrea was talking about. I just posted a bunch of recordings from this weekend in the Iron Sharpens Iron page, so you guys can slowly start to digest those, because there's some really awesome stuff. But Vito Lafata had mentioned purpose, and having that purpose woven in us. And I thought there was a really cool exercise that he has his coaches do that you guys can do, and encourage maybe your new coaches to do. I'm going to see where this fits into my onboarding, but I love it. He said, write down all of your roles. What you do for work. Are you a mom? Are you a wife? And after that, put your purpose in each of those roles. And one of them is going to be coach. So you can ask them for that. Maybe that's something you include in your, like I asked for an about me form back from a coach. So maybe it's something you can add in to that for a new coach, or add into an accountability form for more one-on-ones, so that you can really start to make sure that your coaches have that purpose that's deeper than, I want to help people, or I wanted to retire my husband. And it does take a lot of soul searching when you hit some big goals. I'm sure Alyssa and Andrea have been through it, when you have to have that deeper purpose. And for me, I think of people like Lindsay Matway, and I'm like, that girl just hit triple 15 star. You see her posting, you see her working, you see her continuing to move forward. There's clearly a bigger purpose than some weekly monetary goal, or, some other thing that's tangible. So I loved that exercise that Vito gave us. So you can really make sure your coaches are diving into, what that purpose really is. I know when I started to do it myself, it's like you write down mom, and then you get all weepy, because you're like, to create strong, confident children who can go out into the world, and getting that feeling when you're talking about, when you're writing down why you're a coach, I think can help them stick with this and really have that passion and purpose each day. So that was a huge takeaway for me. And I had a little note on Andrea's when she mentioned, really making that blueprint, taking something you're good at and reverse it, figuring out what you're doing so that you can give a system to your coaches, and that competence creates confidence. So once they have that skill, they're going to be more confident. And realizing as a leader, your confidence is something that your teams can see all the time. And I know this impacted me from day one when I heard Mindy Wender say on a call, that she never refers to her team as anything other than what she knows that they can be. Like Andrea mentioned, like see the light in people and choose to just see that in them and help them bring that out. I've never thought of my team as a team that wasn't capable of any of the goals I set out for them. When people are like, oh my God, are you so surprised, went into 50, superstar qualification? I'm like, no, I'm not at all, because it's not me, and I knew these girls would do it. So having that confidence in your team, because if that shakes, they can feel it. We got to hear from John Addison at our elite session, and he mentioned, that he'll talk to leaders, and they're complaining about whatever team it is they're working with, and they're like, but my team doesn't see me like this. And he's like, no, that's not the case. They look to you for any little seed of doubt. They're waiting for that excuse to be like, see, I'm going to listen to this discomfort and I'm not going to do anything. So creating confidence in yourself as a leader and helping your teams be more confident. And if it's by creating systems, if it's by doing another little thing Vito told us, and he's like, set an alarm in your phone every morning at 8 o'clock, be more confident, be working on these things. Tara Carr gave a great example that I think all of our teams can use on the wake-up call with the Post-it notes. If you have anything negative, in your mind that you're thinking about yourself, turn it around, stick it on a Post-it note, and put it up where you can see it, and really start to believe it and step into that role. And your teams are going to feel like, I hope that my team always feels, they feel how much I believe in them and how much I believe in this. And I think that it spills out, and then they're ready to step up because they know you have the confidence in them, sometimes before they do in themselves, but you never waver on that. So I loved that. And that point on, my team doesn't see me like this. Start talking about your team in the light that you see them in at their best. You know what they're capable of, and let's help them pull those qualities out. I thought that was super, super powerful. Another thing that that I came away from leadership with this. So I've spent a lot of time apologizing for my business. And after hearing John Addison talk about, leaders and his career and how you have got to simply fight for things. And I think that sometimes as a leader, I have done my team a disservice in two ways. And one is not really being upfront and honest, not that I was being dishonest, but kind of wanting to be vague about how much work it takes to build this business. And I think that, because we don't want to scare people away, but then this weekend I'm like, you know what, this is a real business. Sitting with all of these leaders, I'm like, this is crazy. People are doing amazing things with this. And it's true. Anyone that's seen any success in this business knows that they've had to fight for it, and you've been 100% committed. John Addison had talked about the word decide. He's like, you see it's up here, decide, commit, succeed. That means you're leaving no other option than to move forward. The IDE, decide, that means to kill, to end anything. So knowing that it's going to be hard work, especially in this quarter, and not being afraid to get your coaches excited about what you guys are going to do and what you're going to build, and let it empower them. They have control to put one foot in front of the other and build this business. And all the work you guys do, regardless of the outcome, is changing lives and moving you towards your goal. Be proud of that hard work, and be willing to, I'm going to be more candid with my team now, and also set expectations with them. If they've told me they want something now, I came back from leadership, I'm like, I've been doing them a disservice, and I haven't been as honest as I should be with them about things they could be doing better or more of, because I want to be nice and I don't want to make them uncomfortable. So I've been diving back in, just like Andrea mentioned. I realized what was working really well at the beginning of my business was more one-on-ones. And I've tried to make systems that make it a little easier as your business grows, doing Zooms and all this stuff. But the one thing that's missing in my business is those one-on-ones where you can really help them get through their first invites and their first, cold messages and their first groups. And then they slowly leave the nest. And so more one-on-ones is on my list for sure. And I want to give you guys another example of a way that I came back from leadership realizing I needed to really mentor my coaches as business owners. And you're in this stage right now where you're helping diamonds build, and you're getting them excited. And what I've been doing is going in and looking at my girls that are close to diamonds. So maybe they're at emerald. I know we have a trend on our team, and it's great, and I support it, where they're really focusing on building their weak legs, so they don't have a ton of potential emeralds on their strong leg, and their strong legs also super, it only has the 4 active coaches to be diamonds. So something for you guys to think about as you're entering that qualification period and getting to that qualification period is, I have some coaches that it's like, well, I'm building for income. And I totally respect that, because that's what I know they need. That's what I know they need from their business. We all have the purpose, but then we all are also here for the business opportunity. But what I did was I went back for my last 4 weeks. And if it would make more of an impact on your coaches if you went back for 8 weeks, then do that. But I went into my commissions, I looked at my matching bonus, and found these coaches that I wanted to have a conversation with that are at emerald, either because they're pushing for diamond or they've dropped diamond. I added up their cycle bonuses, because you can see that in your matching bonus. If you click on that, it'll tell you that they made $112 or whatever last week. So I went back 4 weeks, tallied up their cycle bonuses. I divided by $14 so I could see how many cycles that meant, and multiplied it by $4, the $4 difference that they're missing from emerald to diamond. And in the last 4 weeks, some of these girls were out $100, $150. And so I got to actually have a really empowering conversation with them, because I care about them as their leader, and I care about their goal to bring their husbands home or quit their jobs and not have to go back after they have their babies. And I felt like this gave me a really cool tool to go to them with and say, I know you're pushing for income. I know you know that we've got this plan in place, but I really want to encourage you to also take a look at the money that is slipping through your fingers right now that we could have had that you could have had over the last month or 2 months. So again, what you guys would do is add up the cycle bonuses, divide it by $14 if they're an emerald, so you'll get a number like 12. You know, they've cycled 12 times. So then multiply that by $4 because that's the difference in emerald cycles. So, you know, each week they're like, oh, it's just $16 that I missed out on, but to see the compound effect of it has kind of been cool and got them fired up this week. So that was kind of cool. One last thing, because I'm out of breath, and then I'll turn it over to Alyssa, is I know it's easy right now at this time in the year as we get closer to these dates that approach to kind of want to sit back and say, you know, I think I'm going to change my mind, you know, and switch be like, you know, there's next year, do these things to kind of justify letting up a little bit on these goals. But Julie Boris made a great point when she said she sat for quite a while as a 9-star diamond coach. And she's like, that's what I was. I was a 9-star diamond coach. And like Andrea mentioned, when you're an elite coach and you're an elite team, you have so many advantages to give to your team. I know I felt a huge responsibility this last weekend to soak everything up because my team got me there and they were the reason I was there. And so they deserved for me to show up to the workouts, show up to the sessions, and soak up everything so that I could bring it back to them. And you're going to get to do that for your teams. I got to bring some girls down on the floor at Summit this year, and it was just so cool to have these gifts to give to your team. So what Julie had mentioned was, you know, that she sat in this comfortable place of 9-star diamond coach for a long time with all of these doubts and reasons why not to keep pushing for what, you know, one time was a goal to be a superstar coach. We all, you know, have that end goal that's huge and so amazing. But then she's like, then a switch happened and she realized that for her team, she needed to be doing everything she could, and she wanted to be a superstar team, right? So for you guys to get your coaches excited about being a diamond team, because then you're showing, whatever the leader is doing, you're showing your team what's possible. For me, I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, could care less about the superstar bonus because it kind of creeps me out. But I want my team to know that if my hot mess self can do it, that they can too. And I feel that responsibility to keep pushing for that. So I want to encourage you guys to have that mindset and that you're doing this for your team and to not apologize for it, because I know you guys are here pushing really freaking hard and going through the holidays doing this stuff because you see the potential in your team as well and in your coaches to do the same thing. So don't apologize for it. Turn it into a team thing. It's not about you. When you're a 9-star team, elite team, your diamond team, because you guys all do it together. When our team went superstar, I was here to let the whole downline know that was every single coach. That was every single Emerald coach. So get them excited about being able to do that for their team and you guys being able to do it for your teams to show them what's possible. So with that, I'm going to hand it over.
Woo! All right, that was awesome. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that I remember going through that last year. Actually, the first year for 5-star Elite, and then last year, you know, when you're pushing for these big, big goals, to really make sure that your team knows that it's not about you and your goal, that it's about a team goal, because you won't get anywhere if you just make it obviously like about yourself. Everything that you do, and you listen to Melanie Mitchell this week when she was gone, or, you know, the example that Stephanie talked about, Lindsay Matway. I mean, Lindsay Matway makes probably $70,000 a week. Monetary is obviously not what her income goal is, but yet she crushes goal after goal after goal in the network. Same thing as Janelle Summers. They're amazing, amazing, and they could stop anytime, but they have this purpose that's literally entwined in everything that they do, and the challenge to just do more and more and more. And I think you guys can even recognize this, that when you guys push for things and you fail, when you finally achieve it, it feels so good. And you have this great sense of accomplishment. And the next time you go out and you try something, you have a little bit less fear the next time that you do it. And every time that we stretch and we grow and we push ourselves into our comfort zones, we're growing as individuals, we're growing as leaders. And that's what being an entrepreneur is all about. It's constant growth and failing forward and taking the first step. And it's basically like walking on the moon and like going into the unknown, because everybody's businesses are going to be different. Everybody's going to have a little bit of a different culture. You're going to attract different people. And with that comes different dynamics, you know? So, you know, what works for my team might not work for Stephanie's team. It might not work for Andrea's team. I know that the way that my coach Melanie was training me and my team, it worked, but our system is better because we have a different group of people. And if I wouldn't have branched off and started doing things on my own, then I would have never known that, you know, she deals with a lot of stay-at-home moms. My team is a lot of working professionals. You know, we've got to train different people for different things. And so it was really scary, especially stepping away from, you know, a coach that is known company-wide to having some of the best systems ever. She's known for that. So to kind of step away and say, no, I've got to do this what's right for my team, because she doesn't know my team like I know my team. And so anything that we do as we move forward, I just want to encourage you guys to just step outside your comfort zone. Every day, do something that's a little bit scary. And most importantly, you guys continue to work on you. I can tell you that it's really easy for your health and fitness goals to go to the wayside. It's really easy for, you know, your meditation and your devotional and anything that you do for yourself daily to get pushed away as we're pushing for these big goals. And I want you guys to make sure you guys are taking care of yourselves, because it's very easy to stay up late at night. Before you know it, you're popping pretzels and chips and glasses of wine as you're, you know, working really hard throughout the night. And, you know, you go into January and you're like, okay, I am hit my goals, but now I'm 15 pounds heavier and I'm absolutely miserable. And my head's not clear because I didn't take care of my headspace during this time. And going through this 2 times, now 3 times, that is the one thing that I'm going to be concentrating on this go round, is that I make sure that I am staying true to me, and by doing the vital behaviors, and most importantly, the vital behaviors that affect me each and every day. So as you guys go through this, self-care is super, super important. Make sure you guys are taking care of you, because you guys got to fill your cups. You guys got to give yourself light before you guys can give energy to anybody else. So I don't want anybody going into January and being like, I am so spent because we didn't take care of ourselves. You'll probably be mentally spent, but at least your body will be still in good shape, and you guys will be nourishing yourselves in the process. Okay? That's what I have for you guys. You guys have any questions for us?
I have one last little cool just little activity that I forgot to mention. Do you guys remember when I can't remember who said it, but they said set an alarm on your phone for every day at the same time that reminds you, was it maybe Brita or something like that reminds you that I am confident. Well, you guys could just set an alarm on your phone every day at the same time that says I am an elite coach, and just project that out there, whatever it is, like I am a good leader, I deserve this, or whatever it is that you guys need to hear. But just remind yourself, or no, I think it was Vito. But just remind yourself that you guys are deserving, that you're good enough. Maybe it's good to like have 2 different ones and alternate every other day. But I said to myself when I come home, like the content was so good at leadership, I really need to go listen to it again, because I was recording some stuff and I was trying to take notes while I was recording. So I set a personal promise to myself that every day I was going to watch 1 new video, and none of them are longer than 20 minutes. They're all 20 minutes or less. So I figured that could be my 20 minutes of personal development every day. So I don't know if anybody wants to do that with me, but you guys can have access to get the same exact training that all the 5 stars and above got over the weekend. So if anybody wants to do that with me and just commit that 20 minutes a day, I promise you it would be worth your time.
Mm-hmm. I'm doing that with Andrea. I'm 2 in. I'm like, really, there's so many nuggets. Those videos are amazing.
Incredible.
I did, for my team, I did post them in our file section, so we have them all. If you guys need them, I can post them.
I put them up in the group.
Okay, she put them up in the group. Stephanie did. Yeah, they're really, really good. And you know what? I've only listened to 2 so far. I'm doing the same thing. I'm also doing this, I'm doing like a book club with my team, but when I came back, I literally just wanted to like immerse myself in personal development because I just feel like my brain is just a sponge right now for this information. But I went back and I listened to 2 of them as well, and I had totally different takeaways listening to it the second time for both of them, just different nuggets of information that I picked up on that I didn't pick up on before. So it's just, I think our brains were kind of overloaded by the end of it, and I just couldn't take on any more information. So it's always great to go back and to listen to those things, especially because it talks about what you guys need. You guys, the leadership that we need, the failing forward that we need, that we're not perfect, that we don't compare. Everything that we are struggling with right now in the fourth quarter, or even struggling with just as women, this event I really felt touched on so many of those different areas. So definitely I agree with you guys. Try to make it, watch a video, commit to doing that. And I mean, hey, you guys have training again from elite teams. Look at that advantage. You guys have 3 coaches on here. The elite coaches were able to bring you guys that information. That's what we want for you guys to be able to do for your teams as well. Because if you guys didn't have any elite uplines, you guys wouldn't be getting that information. So everything you guys can do to get the information out to your teams always starts with becoming an elite coach. That's where you guys are going to get, the best, most concrete information comes from being an elite coach. So go out, you guys, do it. Say to yourselves every single morning that you are an elite coach. Imagine you guys getting recognized at Summit next year, what that's going to feel like when you guys are on stage, how proud you're going to be of your team, and just that emotion that's going to come with you guys achieving these really big goals you guys have set out for yourselves. There's no reason that you guys can't do it. There's 5 weeks left. We had a season of hustle for 5 weeks. We are all in this together. We're all hustling together, no matter how tired we are, no matter how many Super Saturday events we got to plan for, and 3 Vital Behaviors groups and vacations and anything else in the next 5 weeks. We're going all in, and we're going to do this together no matter how well we do, okay? So let's do this, guys. I'm super excited for everybody. Let's go out and just rock it. All right? Woo! Yay!
Yay!
All right, have yourselves a great night. I think my kids are officially killing themselves, so I got to go. I will be recording up for you guys tomorrow.
All right.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone.